Good evening, all.
Good evening, everybody. We've got the amazing Doc Malik, who does podcasts for a living, and yet somehow he's having difficulties with his electronics. So we're going to just gabble on for a little bit to give him a second to see if he can.
Well, before we go too far,
get the machines working.
I had a lovely client who, bless her, been struggling away, and then she's been getting just 15,000 different supplements, and for some reason,
is he frozen?
She brought in.
Oh yeah.
She brought in this and said that somebody had sent it through the post to her.
And how's the dog doing, Bren? This better be a good news story. For anyone listening and not watching, Bren is holding up an image of a fabulous product called Gut Regen 12, which is one of my 3 products that I brought out. So I'm interested in what the rest of this conversation is.
How far down has it gone since RawPetMedic did nothing?
Is the dog still alive?
So next week, tune in, and I'm going to tell you how this dog's doing.
Brutal.
Great, Ben. Yeah, that's great. I had a client too that came from Bren's surgery, and he's much better now that I've been giving him some advice, and I got him through the worst of it. But anyway, we'll chat back in with this client next week as well. But first of all, Brent can go first, and we'll see how well his client went. And then we can just go through it.
Okay. Well, guys, as you can see, we are the RawPetMedics, and sometimes we get serious. And really want to thank all our Patreon supporters who are literally keeping the lights on. Talking of which, my main light, my posh, no, it's not. It's about 12 quid from Amazon, but it's one I've been using for about 4 years. It's finally given up the ghost. So I'm having to use this one over here, which is a daylight, which should mean that I shouldn't need to use these, but I am just in case.
Nick's wearing red glasses for the podcasters.
I'm wearing nighttime blue blocking glasses, and have been for a while now, because there's a lot of toxic light. Believe it or not, this is something that I alluded to in my San Diego talk, and we you think about. We should have a little chat about cleaning products and what have you, but also maybe we should chat about EMF with Doc Malik.
I really want to ask about that. That's
Ahmed Malik. That would be a hot topic. It would be a brilliant topic. And but the thing about light, I'll just give you a couple of minutes on my understanding of light. Is that in 1939 they invented the fluorescent tube. Okay, before that they had incandescent bulbs which pump out loads of near infrared light. Okay, near infrared is the good stuff. Okay, you need it. It comes from the sun, normally comes from even from trees, to be honest, and it's very, very good. And your body is set up, your eyes, your skin is set up to absorb this near infrared light. And what it does is it has a charging effect on the mitochondria, and the mitochondria are the powerhouse of the body. If you've got sick mitochondria, you're staring down the barrel of cancer. You're staring down the barrel of Alzheimer's. You're staring down the barrel of all sorts of modern diseases. Okay, so keeping your mitochondria is in good shape is a really, really good idea, and you do that through diet. But you can do it through good exposure to near infrared.
Has that been measured, Nick?
Has it been measured? Near infrared.
Has it been measured, the effect on humans and on the mitochondria? Has it been measured? Is there like a
it absolutely has. There's a guy called what's his name, Glenn something, at University College London. He's doing a lot of work on this, and he published a paper earlier this year. And what they did was they shone near infrared light, that's 700 nanometers or longer. They shone it for 15 minutes on the backs of the volunteers, and they were able to measure a 27% drop in blood glucose because of upregulation of metabolic health.
No.
Okay, that's absolutely so. But all this stuff is just in its infancy, because we used to think that near infrared only penetrated 1 millimeter or 2, but actually now we're finding that it can penetrate at least 4 centimeters into the body, and they've done this. So it means that if you shine infrared onto your head, you can actually get that energy, that mitochondrial boost into your brain tissue, and they're using it, for example, in brain surgery, to using a near infrared environment to promote healing post surgery and things like that. So it's very, very, very big. And what I was just saying earlier is that, you know, about scurvy, if you go without vitamin C for long enough, your teeth start to drop out, you get bruises, you get bad joints and what have you, because you haven't got enough of the good stuff in your system. Okay, so this is a very good analogy for near infrared. Up until 1939, you would have near infrared all day through the sun if you weren't working in a factory or something, or in a slum, or, you know, where you never saw daylight or what have you. But you would get near infrared during the day, and then in the evening you get near infrared from the fire. And there was and then the fluorescent lamp came along, and everybody had fluorescent lamps. So it meant that all day long they had zero near infrared during the day because they were indoors. It was well lit, so they were more inclined to stay indoors. This is what they use in hospitals, in schools and prisons, for example. And then in the late 90s, I think it was in 97, they invented the LED. Okay, the LED that you could light your house, and the LEDs were even narrower. So they're very efficient in that they pump out red, orange, blue. Richard of York goes battling in vain. Yeah, so red, orange, blue, green, indigo, violet, blah blah blah. Yeah, all the spectrum of light. Okay, but they don't give you any near infrared whatsoever. Okay, fluorescent maybe gave you a hint of near infrared, but not very much at all, not enough for good health. And now everybody's house, because of the you know, the people are trying to save the planet, they are using LEDs, and I'm as guilty as anybody. We've got LEDs in the house. They're really bright, they don't use much energy and what have you, and they are starving you of the near infrared, which feeds your mitochondria and promotes mitochondrial health.
Sorry, Brad, are you talking to
no, I was just going to say that one question I've got there, because there's a couple of things. One, we don't realize it because they make the light flicker fast enough so that you don't perceive it as a flicker, but there is a flicker which interferes with us. So there's something that I was going to ask you about that. But the second thing is, because we now can get lights which have the full range of lights.
Yes, you can. Yes.
But the question is that truly going to emit that infrared side, or is it just going to look red? And
like an orange glow, peach, as opposed to a white LED, and they make an orange glow.
Yeah, I think you'd have to talk to the manufacturer about that. Is it just a visual effect, or is it genuinely pumping out near infrared? There is a guy, one of the guys that I've spoken to is a guy called Bob Fosbury. He's professor of astrophysics, lives down in Bath, just 10 minutes away. Had a nice cup of tea with him about 3 months ago, and he has done a podcast. If you look up Robert Fosbury, and he's done podcasts on YouTube and what have you, but he's also done a few conversations with a guy called what's his name, Zimmerman. So if you look up Fosbury and Zimmerman, can't remember the guy's first name. I should have mugged it up, but I didn't know we were going to be doing this level of detail with the light thing. So they are two of the leading lights, and the other guy is Glenn Jeffrey at University College London. He did the 27% drop in glucose levels. These are some of the leading lights, and so you need to look up those guys. And the reason I bring up Zimmerman is that he's a light engineer, and that he has he's got a company called NIRA, NIRA, as in near infrared with an A on the end, NIRA. Okay, and his lights are LEDs, but they've got an extra element in them to make up for the near infrared. Okay, so they give you great light. They're very good to run. They're cheap to run, but you do have that near infrared, so you're not starving yourself when you're indoors.
There's numbers that come with those light bulbs, and I believe because we went looking, touched on this last week as I went looking, thinking of you, and there's a number called CRI. I had to Google what CRI stood for, and it stands for Color Rendering Index. And it's essentially when you get a factor of 90 CRI, it's a really good light bulb. At 95 CRI gives you the maximum amount of infrared. So the reason we all jump to LEDs is because it's an unbelievable power saving. You'll save a fortune. So we've got 20 spots in our kitchen, lots of spots in the kitchen, and each one of them was a 60-watt light bulb. So 20 by 60 watts if all the lights are on, and they're always on. Everyone puts all the lights on in our house. But if you change to LEDs, you're changing from 60 watts to 3 watts by 20. So it's an enormous power saving. So you can see why people jump to LED. It's enormous power saving. But the problem that's we've lost this infrared bit of it, which means we're living in this very kind of whitened environment, and with all the ramifications that you're telling us about. So,
yeah, it's a depleted environment. Yeah, just as if you stopped eating any vitamin C, you'd be in a vitamin C depleted zone. But we are completely unbeknownst. 99.9% of people, and I was one of those until about 5 months ago, you just don't realize that you're living in this depleted area. Yeah. It looks like Ahmed Malik has made it through. Ahmed, are you there, mate?
I suspect you is.
This is getting ridiculous.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, hold on a sec.
Have you got echo?
No, I can't. I had 2 laptops up. On my Dell, basically, I can hear you all just fine, but my camera won't connect, so it's black. And on my Mac, I can see you guys, and you can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
So go figure.
And I've just cut off your Dell.
Because I've been disconnected, I can't actually hear you guys.
Okay.
Because I got kicked out because there's an echo because I was logged in on both computers.
Okay, but you're good now. No, everything's working now, my friend.
You need to send him a message by phone.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, you could phone in. Let's phone in.
Phone into Ahmed.
Phone in. Yeah, to you, Nick.
No, seriously. Is that going to work? Is that? How do we do that, guys?
It will to you.
Hey.
How about that? Shall we?
Let's just do like that. I just have to ignore your 2 friends, I'm afraid. It's just you and me, Nick.
Yeah.
As ever, my friend.
Okay.
That's probably going to improve the program immensely.
There we go. It's just you.
Oh God! Oh, they've disappeared.
We wouldn't do that to you. We wouldn't do that.
Okay, so can everybody hear everybody else, even though Ahmed is sounding slightly strange because he's coming through the phone?
I can hear. I could always hear Ahmed. No problem. I could always hear him.
I can hear you perfectly.
Great. That's awesome.
You just need to
okay.
so let's your phone.
Is there an echo?
Okay. No, it's no echo whatsoever. I think we're good. We're there.
Now you've disappeared. Did you hang up?
He did.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You hung up.
Anything with professionals.
Ahmed Malik does this for a living, guys.
Have you just hung up on him?
You need to phone me back.
No, I have. Oh, so can you hear?
Can you hear us? No, he can't hear us.
You can't hear.
I can't hear you on the headphones.
Okay, no worries.
So I can't hear you at all.
Okay.
Write notes to each other.
Could you?
Lorraine from Cheshire says I can hear fine. Maybe we just use the chat forum, and that you can ask me questions, and I can just chat for the chat forum.
Brilliant.
All right. Okay. Nick's phoning me back.
Okay. Here you go. Okay. Good.
You'd not believe that we've done this often.
Yeah.
Nick, you need to turn your volume down so that you can't hear him through your phone.
Talk to me.
Just talk to him, but don't do anything else.
How's that?
I can hear you, my lovely friend.
Turn down your phone.
So we're totally organised here.
Getting the feedback from you, Nick.
Nick, turn your volume down on your phone.
We are.
The volume is virtually off on my phone.
Okay, great.
No,
hopefully you can't hear Yeah, too much from my phone. Is that okay, guys?
That's great.
No,
Yes.
that sounds okay.
That sounds good. Can you hear me, Ahmed?
All right, fine. Let's start. Oh, by the way, my wife was like, "Who the hell are you talking to tonight? You said you're going to do evening work." I said, "It's Nick, the holistic vet." And then she was like, "Oh, I love Nick. Thank you, Ellie and Nick from me."
Oh, here we go again, Connor. I think us two are going.
We're just gonna have a 1 minute love in, and then we'll be with you. Ellie was here just a minute ago, Ahmed, because Bren and I were setting up, and she said, gotta go. And I said to Bren that she's going to jiu-jitsu because she's been inspired by you, my friend.
Shut up.
I kid you not. She is now a jiu-jitsu freak. She's going 2 or 3 times a week. She cannot get enough of it. She's got a gi. She's doing no
Are
gi.
you going too? Are you going as well?
No, it's not really my cup of tea, I don't think.
Okay, so when she has an affair with this hot guy half your age with a 6-pack, right?
Yeah.
Who has got fucking bulging biceps and is literally choking her out, and she's getting off on it. Don't blame me. You should be going. You should be going too.
I have considered that. I have considered that.
Fuck shit. I encouraged her.
Yeah, I have considered that, I have to say, but less about my marital status, and let's talk about you.
Wait until she starts with Nogi. Nogi is like there's nothing. It's just
there's nothing separating you.
Yeah, I've seen
and you're
the Nogi. She's doing it already
on the mat.
Yeah. Yeah. No gi doesn't mean no clothes.
All right.
It's really
no gear.
Clothes.
No gear.
No suit. No suit.
There's no Japanese attire. It's just lycra, skin tight, sweaty. It's very sweaty.
Dr. Ahmed Malik, everybody.
Yes.
Just remember that. Just remember that.
And what do they call it when they add baby
why
oil?
she's enjoying it so much.
He's an orthopedic surgeon, everybody.
And you can tell he's been doing interviews all day, and he's just kicking back with us.
Yeah,
he's really going to town.
Yeah, it seems that everybody's enjoying the comedy.
Thank you for showing us how podcasts should be done. We really appreciate it. Yeah, you just let it all hang out, mate. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, but not literally, Ahmad. Yeah.
Okay, so listen, I'm going to bring this rabble to order, and Malik, I want you to behave, my friend. Okay. Okay. Good. Thank you. No, seriously, you can say whatever you fancy. We're gonna talk about health, though. Yeah, we'd really love to talk about health. We've just been talking about light. You've interviewed Jack Cruz. What did you learn from Jack Cruz? Jack Cruz is a neurosurgeon, and I was telling the guys that they were using near infrared when they're doing the operations to improve brain repair of wounds and things post surgery and what have you. What did you learn from Jack Cruz, the neurosurgeon, who is a pioneer in the near infrared and the whole light space?
I've actually interviewed him twice. Apparently had conversations with him twice.
Yes.
So probably about 4 hours of him chatting. And don't worry, I won't summarize it in 4 hours. I can actually summarize it in 4 seconds. Basically, cool. I had no fucking idea what he was talking about.
That's the 4 seconds.
He just spoke, and the whole time I was just like,
Okay. I'll explain it to you one day.
No, but honestly, he just blew me away. And the second time he chatted, he apologized. He said, "Do you know what? I got into trouble. I think one of his girlfriends, I think he's several girlfriends, by the way. One of his girlfriends told him, 'You were too hard on that Doc Malik. You gave him a hard time. You should have gone easy.'" So he actually publicly apologized to me the second time, saying sorry for mannerizing you. But you know what? I needed it. I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I have no idea. Because look, I'm an orthopedic foot and ankle surgeon. I'm fumbling around trying to figure out, you're talking about light. You're talking about light being generated within us, the mitochondria spinning some fucking hormones and ions. And I mean, he went on like this for 2 hours. He could have been speaking a different language. But look, the essence was, we are beings of light, magnetism, energy. We have light within us. We produce light, but we also need light from outside, the sunlight. And we're just incredible human beings. And, you know, when doctors and scientists kind of like dumb us down and make us think that, you know what, the answer's in this pill or this tablet, it just goes to show their ignorance, their complete lack of understanding about how this amazing, incredible machine works. So that's what he did. He mannerized me, educated me, and I left completely bamboozled. I said to myself I was going to listen to the podcast again, but I never got around to it. I really should, but I think even if I did, I wouldn't understand a goddamn thing he said. But he's a genius. I mean,
sympathize with you, Ahmed.
But the good thing is, you know, I actually got him to cry on my podcast.
Wow.
So I talked about him and his past and what made him different from all the other surgeons out there. And he recounted stories from his childhood and who he was, and he got goddamn tearful. It was incredible.
Wow.
You know, the big Jack Cruz.
He's a no nonsense. He's a surgeon, you know, so he gets his way most of the time.
Yeah,
that's for sure. Listen, you do a podcast. Tell us, just give us a minute or two on your podcast now. It's called the Doc Malik podcast. Tell us about that.
Well, you know, I've got some, you know, like C-grade quality guests on the show, like this guy called Nick, Holistic Vet.
Poor choice.
It's not high caliber.
You could have had Bren, could have had me. No.
And you know, it's a proper quackadoodle-doo, you know, conspiracy, tinfoil hat, crazy quack kind of podcast. No, I'm just joking. Look, I've really been enjoying it. I've done about 300 episodes. I've published 250 so far in 18 months. If you want authenticity, you don't want to be indoctrinated, you don't want to be brainwashed, you don't want to be fed misdirection, misinformation, disinformation, and you want to be educated about reality of life and health and all that kind of stuff and have a giggle on the way, tune into my podcast, but only after you've listened to the RawPetMedic podcast.
Awesome. That's the right thing to say. You can stay, my friend. You can stay. So you had an illustrious career, and that is not that's not overselling it. You had a very powerful and rewarding career in the NHS and some private work. Do it as a consultant foot and ankle surgeon. Ahmed, is that right? So you know your way around.
Well, I mean, it's all about how you sell it. I mean, you could say, you know, I did this amazing ingrowing toenail surgery, or, you know, I helped treat people with smashed up ankles. I mean, it's all the way you sell it. I mean, look, I was a consultant. I was in the NHS for almost 22 years. I left the NHS in 2017 because it's a cult, and they're not focusing on what it means to be healthy. The NHS has now become a conduit for big pharma to sell you shit. And if you think it's free, you're completely mistaken. You actually pay for it for tax. So whether it's private healthcare or state subsidized, you know, or wholly state healthcare, all of these are just different vehicles for extracting money from you and putting it into the pockets of big pharma. Okay. So I got really disillusioned with the NHS. I was head of the orthopedic department for 3 years. I thought I could change things from the inside. And you know what? The harsh lesson was I could not. So I turned my own health around. I was diabetic, hypertensive, you know, like that guy of, what's that program, that comedy movie? The one with Austin Powers. You know, Austin Powers, big fat
bastard.
Yeah.
Fat bastard. I was that fat bastard.
You even got the right accent.
I was like, fat bastard, give me that baby. So basically, you know, I was that guy, you know, fat fuck, you know, and overweight. And am I allowed to say that? Am I allowed? No. So basically, you know, and my diabetologist was munching cookies and saying, yeah, you need to go on metformin. It's fine, just go on met. And I was looking at him thinking, you're a fat fuck talking to another fat fuck eating cookies, and you look diabetic and I'm diabetic. Why am I taking advice from you? I'm like, what? So I have to thank my wife, Kat. You've met Kat. You've seen how toned and fit she is. You know? That's what we've both got in common. We're both ugly as hell. We've got hot wives. Don't know how we managed to do that. But the difference is, I at least do jiu-jitsu with her while you're letting her go off with other guys. And no, I'm just stay focused. So basically, she got me into fasting because she was really overweight too. Notice I don't say she was fat. I said she was overweight. She was like, you know,
who Kat was? Kat was.
Yeah, she was 86 kilograms. She's 63 now.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No, she's like a racing snake now. She is fit as a butcher's dog, isn't she?
Yeah. So basically, you know, she discovered intermittent fasting, which is like, if chickens are the gateway to conspiracy theories, intermittent fasting is the gateway to health, right? You start doing intermittent fasting, then you start thinking, well, I'm not going to eat that shit. I'm going to eat really good shit. That eventually leads you to a more keto carnivore type diet. That then makes you think, well, look at me. And your wife is going, and then you're like, oh, I better work a little bit harder at this. This is great. These little incremental gains. Then you start doing exercise. Then you understand the right type of exercise. You understand the mix-up of exercise. You value the importance of strength and conditioning work and weights and everything, and mixing it up. Then you start thinking, well, actually, I've still got a little bit of a belly. I've got to remember, belly, fat bastard. Then you realize then you start sleeping, and just by sleeping properly, you lose another 4 or 5 kilograms. You're wow. And then, like I said, it's a gateway to health, this intermittent fasting. The little incremental gains make you realize, oh, I can sharpen that up. I can sharpen that up. And then when you've got the energy and you've got, you know, the gains visible, you're like, I want more. And then when someone does say to you, oh, do you want Iron Brew or Coca-Cola, or do you want to eat some crap? I look at it and go, no, thanks. You know, I'm waiting. I'm going to delay my gratification for some proper food. You know, so I have to thank my wife for finding the intermittent fasting business, and I haven't looked back since then. And even then, from that, I discovered the importance of so many things. So, you know, I'm in the process of writing a book called Doc Maliks Simple Guide to Good Health. As a New Year's gift to my Twitter, at the time it was Twitter followers, I did a handwritten note saying Doc Maliks Guide to Good Health, and it was viewed by like 1 million people, and people loved it. And I thought, oh, wow. I should turn that into a book. But I talked about sleep. I talked about stress. I talked about diet. I talked about fasting. I talked about nutrition. I talked about love. People underestimate the power of love. You know, if you want to stave off cancer and all these other diseases, man, you better have love in your life. And what kind of love? I mean, you need a self-love, because if you do not love yourself, you cannot receive love and you cannot give love. And then, you know, there's a whole ton of stuff there, from love languages to self-respect, and, you know, the different types of love. So, you know, I'm a bit of a love guru in that respect. And yeah, so, you know, I turned my health around, and in the twilight years of my career, which I didn't realize were my twilight years, you know, I was practicing a very holistic form of medicine, and which meant that my conversion rate from surgery went from like 40-50% down to 5%. I actually didn't need to operate on patients, because if I fixed the other things in their life, their feet and their ankles would get better. Isn't that a surprise? Wow. And part of the problem in medicine is we're super specialized. We're not even specialized. It's not even the fact that, oh, you're an orthopedic surgeon. No, I'm an orthopedic surgeon, and I'm a foot and ankle surgeon. And I'm not just a foot and ankle surgeon. I only operate on the right bunion, you know, or I operate on the left little toe. Or I do only minimal keyhole surgery on the second toe. You know, it's so ridiculously super specialized. And the problem is, when you're like that, you become compartmentalized and you do not see the bigger picture. You've got the ultimate in tunnel vision. So you might come in totally, you know, not sleeping, depressed, having a mental breakdown, and you're complaining about pain in your foot. And I'm like, great, an operation will fix that. When actually you need someone to look at you, step back and see you as the whole picture. So yeah, I mean, that's part of my journey. Journey.
Isn't it difficult though that
why don't you put something in the chat? I mean, can you hear me,
Ahmed? You can't hear me, Ahmed, no?
You want to ask me a question?
You can't. You'll have to put it in the chat, purely and simply because
I can't put it in the chat.
because Nick's
can you hear me?
Yeah,
I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me? Okay, so ask your question, and I'll pass it on.
I was going to say how our doctor is going to move to this kind of looking after wellness as opposed to just reacting to sickness. What would Ahmed's tips be for changing up the NHS a little bit and looking at it more holistically? How can a GP change to this approach of wellness as opposed to sickness orientated, or is that someone else's job?
Okay, so that what he's asking, Ahmed, is how can you change the NHS from promoting wellness rather than reacting to sickness?
That's a great question. What's his name again? Remind me, the good-looking guy in the bottom left.
Connor Brady.
Connor Brady. He's got a really good haircut. He's got good haircut.
They both have. Yeah,
they do.
They knew you were coming on. They were like me a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
They've done it in honor of you.
No, you know what? I like men who shave off their hair. Well, I tell you why. It shows that they're confident in who they are, and they're happy to let go. And we all went through that phase where we're like, oh man, no, I don't want to. I love my hair. Oh my God, no, I'm not really going bald. If I just comb it this way, see, it's still there. It's still there. Yeah, look, it's all there. Just don't look from behind or above. No. And the first time you shave it off, it's so fucking liberating. It's like, yes. I do not need to go and sit at the barber's and hear some shit about some girl and her latest breakup. I don't want to fucking hear that. Don't want to fucking hear that. And you know what? And you have to nod. You have to like, oh yeah, that's terrible. Oh, that's fucking so sad. You know, because if you don't do that, they might do a shit job on your hair. Anyway, moving on. So basically, moving on about your hair. About the NHS. Like the simple answer is, it needs to be taken apart. I don't believe in the NHS. I don't believe in subsidized government healthcare. Now you might turn around and go, "Oh my God, you money grabbing, American like insurance surgeon. You want to make loads of money." No. Why does it have to be that? I mean, if you notice, the Americans will go, "Oh, if we don't have our insurance, we're going to have this horrible state system like the UK." And over here in the UK, we go, "Oh my God, if we don't have the NHS, we're going to have the US American insurance system." No, why? Why does it have to be one or the other? It doesn't. They're both shit. What you do not want is centralized healthcare, which both of them are. You have central diktats coming through, central guidelines, policies, whether it's the NICE guidelines or some other American board of surgeons recommend this bullshit, and then it's validated for the insurance system. All of these systems are centralized. And like my friend Jack Cruz talks about, we need decentralized healthcare.
Decentralized, yeah.
Decentralized. So what you want is what we had like in the Victorian era. You had community hospitals. You had local communities running hospitals, non-profit charities. And, you would go to your local village hospital or town hospital, and you knew who everybody was. And there was, there were different charities and philanthropic organizations, and doctors had autonomy. They were not being told what to do and how to practice medicine. They were not being indoctrinated through med school. You had osteopathy, you had chiropractors, you had homeopathy, you had herbalists, you had the whole gambit of medicine. They were all treated the same. And then the Flexner report came across around 1913 to 17. This guy went running around America looking at all the places that taught medical people. And he's funded by the Rockefellers. And basically, after that day, they screwed the medical system. They basically, everyone else that was practicing age-old, millennial, medicine passed through the years through wisdom, that was all debunked as being quackadoodle-doo. And basically, medics were now going to be selling the pharmaceutical products that were petrochemical drugs and medicines. And basically, the way the system works is if you dissent or if you question, you then have the license, which is actually a noose around your neck that gets tightened because you get investigated, suspended, and whatnot. And then if you're the ultimate cult punishment is you get banished, you get excommunicated. And so medicine, the whole medicine is corrupt. It's the centralized process is fundamentally corrupt. It can only go one way. Even if the NHS started with noble intentions and was good, which I don't think it was, there was always an agenda. It might have been good for 10 years, a little bit less good after 20 years, a little bit less good after 30 years. It gets to the point where we are now, which is shit, where doctors are automatons, where they're just robots dishing out drugs, pills, injections, and operations that benefit big pharma and the pharmaceutical and medical industrial complex. So, if you really want to fix things, you need to get rid of centralized healthcare systems, whether it's the NHS or private. I hope that answers the question, my friend.
Okay, that is really good. So you have learnt a vast amount about holistic approaches to medicine through your reading, through your interviews with 300, not all of them medical people, but many very influential medical and health orientated nutritionists and health practitioners. What would you say is your learning that you bring to your kids and your cats? You've got a couple of lovely Chocky Burmese, and what learning? How has your approach to their health changed? As this is a vetty, animally show, what would you say?
That's a good question. So yeah, I mean, I've had 300 minus one excellent guess. Let's not talk about
that. You're very cheeky. Very
so basically,
cheeky.
I mean, if you think about it, do my cats need to brush their teeth? Do my cats need to take drugs and medicines and supplements? No. What are they doing? Why are they so healthy? Why have they got this beautiful coat of fur? And why do they look so healthy? They don't get their vaccines because they're eating raw food, raw
Beautiful.
meat.
Beautiful.
Okay. And who someone helped me with the glasses. He helped me, realize that.
You're not wearing your sunglasses, mate.
I know I've dimmed the lights. Actually, I don't know if you can tell I've dimmed the lights.
Oh, okay.
So basically, I've just set the lighting low. So basically, I think if you eat your evolutionary diet, most things will fall into place. If you eat healthy, seasonally, without seed oils, without ultra processed food, without the fructose corn syrup, the preservatives, if you get rid of all that crap.
Losing the audio.
Yeah,
there,
we're losing him. Losing him. Full stop. Oh,
I'm back.
No,
Ahmed,
you're back.
We lost you. Sorry, just give us that last 30 seconds after seed oils, please.
I can't hear you on your phone. Say that again on the phone.
If we lost you just for about 30 seconds, it looks like your signal's not so good. So if you could just give us just the last 30 seconds from seed oils.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, no, it's all right. I'll turn off my laptop. I've got good signal. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, I just gave up today. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, it's one of those things. We'll get you on again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks.
You can hear me clearly?
Yep. Good.
That's good. So basically, I was saying avoid seed oils, avoid fructose corn syrup, avoid preservatives, avoid all the garbage. If it looks like a plant, by all means eat it. Well, sometimes I do, not that often. If the thing ate a plant, definitely you can eat it. But if it was made in a factory plant, avoid it. Just stay away from it. And the same goes with water. Tap water is filthy. I've had a couple of guests on now talking about how disgusting tap water is. How it's got heavy metals, pesticides, insecticides, hormones, OCPs, drugs. Everything's in that garbage. So,
whoa, he's gone. Ahmed, you've just disappeared, my friend.
Press the wrong button.
Look, for the sake of the audio, I think we've got 15, 20 minutes. I mean, he's given us a bit there anyway, because it's probably stressing him out now at this stage. So just let him off the hook, Nick.
Okay.
And tell him we'll see him again.
And we'll talk about those other bits.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You guys just keep talking, and I'll just
so turn off your mic, Nick. Turn off your mic while you do it.
I'll control him.
All right, I feel like I've been on the ropes there for a while. I'm not used to not speaking. It's very difficult for me. You want to say something and he can't hear you. It's really tricky. It's really
Isn't
tricky. Oh yeah, but
you are.
yeah.
Well,
But,
he is.
oh look, I can hear him.
He is. Oh, we can hear him.
Nick's gone.
Can he hear us?
Can you hear us now?
I'm back.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think they can. This is becoming a right comedy show.
No, this is like the Three Stooges.
We're just going to keep it off.
Do you know what? What is this platform? Be Live. I mean, can I take the piss out of it? I've never heard of it before.
Go ahead. I bet the owner is listening.
Is it rubbish? It looks rubbish to me.
Yeah,
I think we should use StreamYard or Riverside next time.
It doesn't look rubbish.
I use StreamYard and Riverside. Do you guys ever use that?
Yeah, Riverside is good. Yeah, I like Riverside. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
can you hear me?
StreamYard.
Can you hear me?
No, I can't
no,
hear. Okay,
can't hear you.
Nick, you want to ask me a question?
Nick's gone. Nick's gone.
Nick's. Sorry, I'm keeping Nick to one side just for a laugh.
So, listen, we're just coming up on 43 minutes. I want to keep it really tight because I promised Ahmed we would do 45 minutes because he needs to get away at about 7:55 or so. As do you, Connor. Yeah, he needs to get away fairly sharply. So how about we say thank you very much to Doc Malik, Ahmed Malik, for
let's get you back
a hilarious show. Let's get you back. So with really good audio and what have you, if you'll have us. And let's call it a day for now and say thank you. It's been hilarious and you've hit so many nails on so many heads. So that's absolutely brilliant. If you could stay with us for 10 minutes and just tell us about some of your favorite guests, the guests who've either entertained you or have taught you the most with our Patreon people, just for 10 minutes, we'd be really grateful.
Afterwards, yeah. So
Let's
for
do
all those guys watching us on Facebook, thanks for your tolerance. Thanks for being with us tonight. Don't forget you can catch us on patreon.com.
Do you want me to tell you my favorite guest?
Hang on a second.
So yeah, so we will just say goodbye to those people on Facebook, and if you want to catch us over on patreon.com/RawPetMedics, find us there and catch up with Doc Malik's favorite guests.